Good morning. It's HHV, the judge, and Judge's Jules. Hello, Si. How you doing, mate? What a weekend we had.
Yeah, amazing, King George. So much to talk about, Judge. So many potential horses.
Where do you start, really? And we'll get on to the King George later because I know you've got one out of the King George. But let's go headlong into it. I mean, I think obviously York and Ascot were two wonderful cards at the weekend. And obviously, I have a big love affair with York, and it was nice to have a good winner on the channel. Well, the 7-1 winner. It's nice to get one.
Yeah.
We were due one, weren't we?
Yeah, well done, mate. Excellent call. That did the business. Really toughed it out, didn't it?
It did, because there was a low draw bias on the track, wasn't there? It did well to come from the high draw.
Aberama Gold is the horse, folks, if you didn't see
that's
Friday.
The one, yeah. It's the one that was drawn high, and it's basically won a pin clear from the low draws, and it come and picked it up quite comfortably in the end. But anyway, let's not keep going over old ground. Let's cover some stuff that we want to find some more winners. Got a big week ahead at Goodwood. What a week to look forward to. It's for me, it's as good as Royal Ascot in places. Glorious Goodwood can be. Shame about the weather that may be coming in, but you can't do anything about that. Well, my first one, they run at Ascot, Si, and I like the one in 3 o'clock, the big race there. The big handicap won by Baradar, which somehow went off 16-1 after being 11-2 the night before. That was a bit of a frustrating race because it's just one of those times sometimes when you see a horse a bit of value and you don't play. But the one I come out of that race, I really like the run of Fool's Rush In. Stayed on really well into 5th. This horse was picked up by Jim Goldie at the start of the season. Came from Hugo Palmer. And this horse has really been dropping in the ratings. It started the season at 96. It's down to 90, but the last 2 runs, you watch its run at Hamilton the time before, it finished really well over 6 furlongs. He finished very well again on Saturday over 7 in a Class 2 handicap. I think there's one of these Northern or Scottish handicaps lined up for this horse in the coming weeks. And I'll be really surprised if this doesn't win shortly. I really like it. Really finished well. Fool's Rush In. What's the run of it? It was nothing finishing faster.
Yeah, I actually made some notes on this race. I thought it was a bit disappointing overall, but yeah, completely see. And, William Pyle, I'm sure, was riding to instructions, but, it's 50-1. Not many people backed it. But I got to say, Judge, you would be a bit disappointed if you had, in the fact that, just over a furlong out, he was absolutely miles back, wasn't he?
Yeah, yes. No chance of winning the way the race was run.
No chance of winning at all. I mean, if it came up very, very heavy, and it would certainly get him the Silver Cup, wouldn't it? You've got to look at a race like that, maybe at Ayr, because that takes some.
We're looking at a horse here that's sort of there's one off sort of mid to high 90s. He's dropped down. He might even go down a pound, drop him under the 90 bracket. But the last couple of runs have definitely been a lot more like it. And I definitely think he's won it. I think Goldie's now got to the stage he's going to have a win out of it.
I'll have a private wager with you for charity that the handicapper watches that race and doesn't put him down.
Be surprised, but he certainly won't go up for coming 5th.
Yeah. I mean, dear old Orban ran a very similar race in the idea that Crowley was there, that horse was there, but it's almost like their minds were on other things, isn't it? If you watch that.
Well, you mean the Goodwood race? It won last year. The Golden Mile come Friday.
Perhaps.
Funny enough, there was another one in that race. Please. This is actually sort of one of my members. I've got another horse of David O'Mara's that might have run an even better race in that as well.
Right, excellent. A race where a few of them were thinking of pastures new, I think, during that.
Yes.
To put it like that. Good stuff. Well, mine first one, Judge, ties in with a horse that I actually gave here a few weeks ago. Just to go back there, I think it was 3 weeks ago. And the horse was a horse called Under the Sun, trained by Hugo Palmer, and it had been smashed in a novice at Ascot. And I said it on the surface, it looks disappointing that they've done their money. But I said at the time, I think if people go back and check the video vault, I think they've been a little bit unlucky in that they've ran into one. Now, the horse that they ran into, it was 3.5 lengths back to the third Galactic Charm that day. That was on the 15th of July, was a horse making its debut called Al Muzmak. 9-1 that went off and won a neck. Been 3-1 in the morning, or about drifters never win. Now, I think I've been somewhat vindicated, and I want to highlight Al Muzmak, who's still a very babyish, inexperienced horse. He's gone into a listed race second. Only his second ever run at 4:15 Ascot. It was the FlexJet, the Pat Edry, the listed, formerly the Winkfield. And it's funny how things change. He's run into one. He's run into a horse called Rosalian, which was allowed to go off at 11-1, and has absolutely stuffed them out of sight. Completely stuffed them out of sight. And it's one of those things where you think, well, somebody must have known about this, because Richard Hannon Jr. comes on telly after, and he's talking about this Rosalian as it could be the best thing they've ever been involved with. It's an absolute monster. It's a tool. So they've kept that one quiet. I've watched the race back. Now, Al Muzmak has finished second, beaten 4 lengths, but he has come on a lot from debut. Still very green, still very babyish. He clearly likes Ascot. All ground seems to come alike to him. Now, Rosalian's been talked about as running in all sorts of like Racing Post trophies, Group 1s. So I think Al Muzmak on his second ever run. Now, he's beaten a horse in third called Ancient Wisdom, the famous £2 million horse, who obviously has a huge reputation. He's beaten him fair and square. You've got Dancing Gemini, which is a highly regarded horse. This was a really, really strong race. And I think Al Muzmak, because he's got beat 4 lengths, he's still going to get underrated here, Judge. I think there's a listed or even a Group 3 at his mercy. So we've been vindicated by saying that the other horse ran into him. He's run into Rosalian, and I think he's run into an exceptional young horse there. And Al Muzmak, he isn't going to face a horse as good as Rosalian every time. I think he's a listed and a Group 3 winner waiting to happen.
Yeah, that race, they were quite well strung out, weren't they, in behind as well? So, I think the second and third were quite close together. Then there's a gap to the fourth onwards, I think, from memory. It looked a good race. So you've got so many unexposed horses in it. And, a good run from Al Muzmak, that.
Yeah.
Well, shall I move quickly on to my second one then? Right, so we're staying at Ascot, actually, and we're going to the last race, which is the 5:40 on Saturday. It was won by a horse called Intrinsic Bond, who changed trainers and absolutely sort of pinged it from the front. Almost like, it's unusual for a sprinter Ascot to nick it from the front. I mean, you don't often see many horses make all there in big fields. And this made all, won comfortably for the Michael Wiggum stable by 3.5 lengths. But I've got a Jim Goldie thing going on, because obviously this is the time of the season. And I like the run of Call Me Ginger here. This horse won the Portland last year off the £4 higher mark. It ran on really well into fourth. Has won at Ascot before, but it's definitely down to a mark now and they're going to be competitive with. And for me, the last couple of runs have suggested that his turn is near, let's say. So me, it's Call Me Ginger. I'm talking about my dad now. That's the one in the 5:25 at Ascot on Saturday.
Yeah, I can see that. And these Goldie horses seem to be late getting out of the stalls, don't they? If you look at the comments in the RP, it's all towards rear, kept on late.
Yes.
Yeah, I tipped a horse called Significantly here, which ended up being second, but I've no complaints at all. Yeah, it ran well, but Intrinsic Bond must be enjoying his new home, because he has, like you say, tough to make call at Ascot. He's absolutely slaughtered them. Michael Wiggum, whether you want to, follow that next time, that would be risky. Call Me Ginger, absolutely no chance with the winner. Given no chance with the winner. Young Amy Waugh rode the horse. Yeah, like you, I think he's going to go back for Donny and have a real crack at holding on to his Portland title. Do you think that'd be the next stop?
I think they'll obviously have a couple of little jaunts before then. I do think this also probably be aimed at a bigger handicap, to win. It might even be one of them ones, another little run down the field, but or they're going to have a tickle with him. I do think the horse is handicapped to win now. Definitely a return to the Portland, but obviously we've got another month or two to the Portland, haven't we?
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to want to win before that, do you?
No, that's what I'm kind of getting at. So
yeah,
it'll either be in a big handicap between now and the Portland, or the Portland itself, I think.
Yeah, so we're saying keep a watching brief until that race.
Yes.
Yeah,
I can't see it winning a £3 handicap in Hamilton midweek.
Exactly. So really, it's an anti-post bet, that, isn't it? Now, if you can get whenever the Portland goes, I think he's going to try and re-win that again. Right, my second one. We're going to come to the King George, which you know was billed as one of the best for years, and I think it certainly did. But it didn't turn out how the betting thought it would. I did my old friend Pile Driver. I think he chased a very, very, very fast pace. Took keen hold. I knew I was done halfway around. I think he's better than that, but I don't know whether he would have won or not. But I really wish PJ McDonald had not chased what everybody knew were the two pacemakers. But there you go. We live and learn. August Rodin, I think we need to mention him. He came here as the 9-4 favourite. He was well backed. Was starting to be talked about as though he could be, you know, one of the Coolmore wonder horses. He's absolutely blown out, and it's funny. It's a race that horses can. We think of Westover, think of Emily Upjohn, you know, last year. So he's flopped. He's got to be better than that, but I don't know. It's going to be a risky proposition now. I thought Emily Upjohn ruined her chance by ridiculously keen hold. It's obviously very highly strung horse. Pile Driver went too quick. I suppose what I'm getting at, Judge, is that I don't 100% trust this as pure form. I think I've slagged Crowley off, but for once he gave a really, really top class ride because he let them get on with it up front. I know you like Westover. I thought he's run probably a career best. But the horse that I'm going to put up here is King of Steel, the third. And my angle is, again, he took keen hold. It was a strange race, held up in midfield, going easily 3 out. Here's the kid, going easily 3 out. Ridden and disputed second, no extra from 1 out. I think this horse by Wootton Bassett, I know he's won at Ascot over 1.5 miles at the Royal Ascot, but I just think his class got him through there in what wasn't a particularly strong group race. I actually think, Judge, that they need to go back to a 1 mile 2 or go to 1 mile 2. And I think some group ones are at his mercy here. He really, really travels as though that 10 furlong. And you've got so many great races. You've got, you know, the Champion Stakes, you've got the Juddmonte back here at Ascot at the end of the season, or even looking at races at the Breeders' Cup meeting. I just think at the very, very highest level, whatever trainer and everybody was saying, at the very highest level, he's going to get caught out over 1.5 miles. But kudos to the front two. Excuses for the others, but, you know, they've got to be on the game. There's no point pulling like that. So many of them did. I just think that the horse to take out from this is the third. And I'd love to see him drop to 10 furlongs. If he is, I can see him be a match for absolutely anyone because I think he's a very, very classy horse. So King of Steel for me, get in that tracker.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely the horse to take out of the race. But, you know, if you think the billing of the race and what a race it looked beforehand, and it was a fantastic race. Unfortunately, I come on the wrong end of a photo finish. It would have been a massive difference on the day because I had a couple of nice winners on Saturday rolling up onto that one. And, I mean, Westover's run very, very brave race and just got out chin. But unfortunately, talking about the blooming whip again, was it that noticeable that it was that bad? You know, neither of the horses were hurt or anything. You know, and we're sort of shooting ourselves in the foot now. We're talking about a great race, and they're talking about the whip now. So it's sad, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So anyway, moving swiftly on, as they say, we've got one left to go, and I think you probably know what I'm going to go for here after the weekend. An old faithful for this channel, but now is this horse's time of year, and this was a huge eye catcher for me on Saturday. A horse called Summergand, and now this is this horse's time of year. He's now dropped to a mark of 97. And this horse, when it gets below a 3-figure rating, is a horse to be followed. Let's say it was tenderly ridden on Saturday with a view to bigger races in the pipeline. I'm sure it's about to be in the Stewards Cup on Saturday. This horse has come 4th off a mark of 100, won the Stewards Cup off 108, was 12th off 109, and was 9th last year off 100. Very unlucky if you watch the race back. But this horse has got all things lead onwards now. After getting beat in last year's Stewards Cup, this horse came 4th in the Great St Wilfrid at Ripon, won at York, and also won the Ayr Gold Cup. So we all know, and the David Amara stable is now clicking into gear at last. It's taken quite a long time for him to get going. I thought this horse showed so much promise on Saturday. I hadn't seen him travel as well as that for a long time. He's normally out the back being niggled along. He was actually travelling well, approaching the 2-pole. And interestingly, the jockey waited till about the furlong pole to get really going. And look, he gave him a couple of smacks and he tried inverted commas his best and come 4th. But I thought this was a lovely run. Please watch it back. And then for me, this wants a big field and then to go really hard. And there will be a big handicap coming up for this horse. If he doesn't win, he'll be very close to winning in the next few weeks. So Summergand.
Yeah, he's 9 now, and I think the rest of this season they're going to have to go all out, and I think that'll probably be about it. But you're right, he has got a big race in him. I think this was a good race on Saturday. I'd also ask people to have a little look at a horse called Magical Spirit for Kevin Ryan that was 6th.
It travelled, didn't it?
Oh my God! I tell you what, I'm taking the words out of my mouth. Now, I don't think he's quite got home on the slowish ground. I know they changed it to good, but a lot of the jocks came in and said it was still a bit loose on top. I don't think he's quite got home, whether they bring him back to 5. But I have rarely seen a horse 2 out travel like that in a big field Saturday handicap where they're all going. You know, you look at all the other jockeys hard at work. They're all at full tilt, and he's absolutely swinging away. Now, he's I don't think he's ungenuine. I just think he's just faded late on. But if they could bring him back to 5 and he could travel like that and put his head on the line, I would take that. Summergand, you're right. I think next Saturday could well be his day in the sun, do you?
I think, put it this way, unless the draw's massive difference, I will be surprised he's not thereabouts. There might be 1 or 2 better. I don't actually think handicapping-wise it makes a lot of difference to this horse. But if you actually, this actually run the Stewards Cup of 109. So from a handicapping perspective, he's off a mark of 97. He can run well. I haven't seen the fact that I know he's 9. I don't think he's over the hill at all. He's showing to me that he's not far off his best. And if you have a look at the trend of the way this horse runs, it always starts off slowly and then comes towards the end of the season. But Magical Spirit for me, I do think there's a couple of races. I think he's got a really good record at both Doncaster and Ayr from memory. I could see like 5.5 of the Portland again. Or I think, did he win the Ayr Silver Cup or the Ayr Bronze Cup one year? I think he actually bolted up in one of those. And the way he travelled on Saturday, you'd want him to sort of like be held up just in behind the pace and then come late, wouldn't you? Rather than sort of being behind the leader. He's sort of a little bit more of a sort of held up ride rather than track leaders. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, but he so
you're not going to have to wait. The best horse for a long way in that race.
You're not going to have to wait long for Summergand. His big days next Saturday.
Next week.
And I think
I'm already on for a little bit, but I kind of he is a horse I've got a lot of time for, and I like horses that you can nearly pretty much set your clock by, and he's one of them. And he always is a good price, isn't he?
Yeah. And I think the yard's going to have a decent week. Really do.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fantastic, and of course, you buy one festival, get one free because Galway starts tonight, and it's going to be every day all the way through. So we've got the squad ready. Yeah. We've got a massive week ahead, everybody. So do get involved. So good luck this week, Judge.
And good luck, mate. And let's hope we are
very lucky.
Yeah, be lucky, mate. Let's hope we have a good week.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.